that the man I was married to has been diagnosed by her, Ruth McCullough, as a transsexual, and that she told me in the phone call also that she didn't have any certifications, MSW or therapy credentials, but she has been working with men like my husband, and she knew how to tell. And so she knew he's a transsexual. She just said to me, and I will quote,
Right.
I know that he's a transsexual because I know. That's what she said to me.
Gotcha.
And then I sat down with my 1-year-old in my arms and cried at the kitchen table.
Right. I'm terribly sorry about that.
Thanks.
I know it's a traumatic experience.
Yes.
The only issue would be, again, in 1992, there were no laws governing this as of yet. So that's something I will bring up with our counsel's office.
Yes.
And to see what because again, I don't make, as an investigator, I'm not a trained attorney.
Yes.
My job is to gather the evidence and present that information both to our attorneys and to the prospective board members who are the licensed professionals.
Yes.
Who deal with this. So what I'm saying is, since we're going back, almost 30 years.
Yeah.
Closer to 40 years now.
No, 30.
Actually 30 years.
It's 30 years.
Right. I have to look back and see, and again, this is research I'm going to do.
Okay.
To see what laws apply. Now, just to be clear also, so for the state to request records, so you filed a third-party complaint.
Yes.
So basically, you're filing a complaint based on treatment that somebody else received.
Right.
So I would need basically those. I can't just go to somebody and say, give me your records.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because they're protected by HIPAA.
Right.
So I would need some kind of release from
the patient.
I guess at this point it would be your ex-husband. And I guess they go by she now, correct? So
my former spouse uses female pronouns. I don't, but this is how I express myself. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
So she would have to maybe not sign a HIPAA, but at least authorize a release of her records, even if they exist. State regulations say that a professional has to maintain records for 6 years. Obviously, we are way past that.
Right.
So if these records exist, again, I would need a release from your ex-husband to request them. I can't just go and say, a complaint was filed, give me the records. The complaint has to, because when somebody files a complaint, there's a release on the bottom of the complaint form authorizing the state to get their records.
I see.
And if they don't sign that release, they have to give us a HIPAA form.
Right.
So I don't know what your current relationship is with your ex-husband.
We have no communication whatsoever.
Okay. And I'm not asking you to step out of your comfort zone or do something that's going to upset you or your family. I know it's already been a traumatic situation, but I would need that release to even approach Ms. Wheeler about, hey, I need your ex-husband, I believe it's Danielle, what is her last name?
Don't say it. Go ahead. It's okay.
Yeah.
I know. I know who you're talking about.
Right. So I would need her authorization. So in your opinion, is that even going to be possible?
No.
Okay.
No. See, okay, now I just want to state to you that I'm doing this because I'm very concerned about this entire field of affirmative care rushing their patients into irreversible use of hormones and irreversible, actually dangerous surgeries. And what you can see here is there is a pattern of unregulation.
Right.
Yeah. So is there any way that at least there's some notes if someone would ever sue, like a detransitioner, if a detransitioner would ever sue this particular psychologist because they changed their mind and they had been rushed into this and they were treated, so-called, by a non-certified person just like this Ruth McCullough. Now, is there any way for there to be official notes that I had pointed this out? I think it's unfortunate that you cannot take a third-party notification about a possible ethics violation like this.
No, we can, and we do. But I'm just telling you what our recourse is in obtaining records. Like, I can reach out to Ms. Wheeler and say, listen, who's under your employ right now? I want to know about. So here's the thing: with a complaint like yours, I'm going to contact Ms. Wheeler.
Yes.
And say, okay, I want to know about how you conduct your business.
Okay.
Okay. Who works under you? I can get her business structure.
Okay.
But when it goes to obtaining patient records, again, unless I have signed releases, I can't compel her to do that. Even with a subpoena.
Right.
Because again, understand, we're not a criminal prosecution agency. We are an administrative agency.
Right.
And even if I did work for the district attorney,
yes,
it wouldn't just be a subpoena. It would be a court order. So I have to go to a judge to release medical records.
Right. And this is
I can't just issue a subpoena and say, hey,
right.
I want records.
Right.
When it comes to medical records, if somebody doesn't sign a release, I have to go to a judge and tell a judge, this is a reason why. Like it would be the same thing for you as a citizen. I can't walk into your, to your general practitioner and say, I want Ms. Rainey's records. Well,
okay.
Just because I want them.
Right.
For part of an investigation. They can be like, well, who are you?
Well, I guess, this is what I'm asking for, is I am making a citizen's request that the business practices of this particular psychologist be examined, at least. It sounds like you have the power to do that, because
yes.
Another reason that I am taking the time to do this is because I found out that there are now online so-called affirmative care trainings where you can do some kind of correspondence course and then you are certified or qualified or something for writing these letters of referral for troubled individuals.